This is a brilliant opportunity. In as much as it was a men's session, we had our mothers also coming to back us, yeah? And I believe, you know, behind every successful man, there is what? Two ladies, yeah? Yo, guys. Yo, I got two ladies, but believe it, if I don't do it right, they will put me in the right place because they are teachers. Oh, what's up, people? Nana say, if you watch directly behind me, we are at King's College in London, and the reason why I'm here is there is a good program which is going on. These are black men teaching within the field of education. You know, these men definitely are of the view that, you know what, we need to be present within the classroom as well. We definitely may believe, or we definitely may be, you know, subscribe to the fact that parenting within the household need to have the men also within the household. This is the situation where men are equally saying within the classroom we need to have teachers who can equally be part of the upbringing of our children. Guys, I'm not going to spill too long. All that I'm saying is come with me, let's go in there, listen to these great guys who are sharing their experiences in terms of their journey as being men within the teaching industry or maybe within the education field. Equally, we may be having other people who are lecturers, head teachers. The bottom line is, guys, come with me. Let's go and listen to these great individuals who have great, you know, experiences within the education field. And I will believe that, yeah, we would all be inspired in regards to what they have to teach us. Guys, my name is Nana SA. I run this project called Black Next Gen. And all that we want to do is to make sure that we bring you our black experience for you to be able to celebrate. And yeah, why don't you subscribe? Why don't you join us so that we can share our experience together as black people? Up in a bad place, trying to live good. Oh, see who is here? See who is here? Yeah?
What are the chances,
man himself.
What are the chances? And I was just looking at something you tagged me in this morning.
Yo. I was just making sure that these guys are also getting online.
Everything.
Yeah?
You gotta get the logo, everything, the venue, the done it sick.
We got the Godfather himself here. Yeah? Man. Guys, I will have a quick spill with the guys who are more or less, you know, meeting people, welcoming people, just to make sure that, yeah, they give us a quick intro for everybody else who may want to reach out to them in regards to our children, their education, and everything else that you want to know, especially from the teacher's point of view.
How you doing? I'm Jordan. I'm one of the fellow teachers of Black Men Teach. This is our conference today where we're targeting reflective aspirations. This is an opportunity for us to bring black teachers, men and fellow black teachers into one space where we can network, talk amongst each other and give guest speakers an opportunity to broaden our horizons and speak about their experiences and what we can do going forward.
Basically, I'm going to perform a piece called The Big If. This piece was created on a conversation I had with my history teacher around 4 years ago. In a class, with a group of us, we engaged in a heated conversation around the true essence of what it is to be black, the highs and the lows, but most importantly, why we are only taught the negatives, such as black boys dominating the stop and search statistics. We learned things only to do with European history and the negatives of black history, which was only based on our ancestors being slaves. And I asked my teacher why aren't we taught more about blacks in history and why it's not incorporated in schools and their lesson plan. In response, the teacher was quite rude and dismissive to my question and told my friends that if they were unhappy with our answer, then they should contact the exam board. So I came home and went straight to the kitchen and I argued with my dad, as I do. Like anytime I have a problem when I was in school, I used to come home and argue with him. And in response, he told me, farm fools to catch wise, which got me angry again because every single time I come here with a problem, my dad uses a Jamaican saying to make light of the situation But then in the end, it's always said in a way to teach me how to deal with the situation at hand. He told me to write the letter to the exam board as she instructed me to, and include my then head teacher, form tutor, and praise his teacher very highly for what she instructed me to do. So yeah, as I said before, the piece I'm going to perform is called The Big If, but also just to let you guys know, she did resign after about 3 weeks of teaching us. So yeah, The Big If. I wonder if in history I was told we were upper class Africans, kings and not just slaves, would my views change? If in art I was told we were great sculptures, creators of finely crafted bronze, extraordinary artworks and such things, would I have been filled with awe, knowing I would want to know more? I wonder if in these classes I was taught of the ivory bangle women in Roman Britain, if in his story I was told there were mixed communities in Roman Britain, living in York, Roman Britannia, would my views have changed? Would I have been filled with awe, knowing I would want to know more? Did you know, in DT, I wasn't told that in the 1870s, automatic lubricator was invented by a Canadian, studying in Scotland, England, having 50 plus more US patents for his inventions, the iron board, lawn sprinkler, and more. If I told you too, he was a black man just like you, would your views change? Would you be in awe, knowing this inventor, Elijah McCoy, from which coined the name The Real McCoy? I wonder, if you were me, would your views change? Would you have wanted to know more? Now, have you ever heard the name Benjamin Banneker? A work colleague of T. Jefferson, he was a well-renowned mathematician. He, the builder of the first striking modern clock. He, the creator of complex trigonometric puzzles still in use today in some schools in the US of A. Did you also know Banneker was the first to calculate and predict the solar and lunar eclipse in 1788 for 89? If you didn't, that's fine. Did you know in 1791 he was instrumental in surveying Washington, the country's capital, the first to track the life cycle of the locust, created his and the first almanac? Wouldn't you want to know more? Just like me. Now, let's think hard with this task while our chests are filled with pride. Ready for this race. So many youngers wanting to know more, eyes wide open, hearts pounding, looking forward to the trek. Folks clenched tightly to their chests, just waiting for the chance to do their best. Knowing so many elders have walked this way before, now disillusioned, deflated. So many youngers would be knocking at your door, wondering where they fit in. They're told of the Great Wall of China and Hadrian's Wall, now Trump's Wall. Why aren't they told of the Great Wall of Benin? Here is where they'll fit in. I wonder, where are the pictorial representations, cultural references to the text or topic you've taught? Will their views change, knowing they'll be wanting to know more?
Oh man, can you give a massive round of applause for our core team? Thank you guys. You're at the main part, one of the main parts, and that's about the research. So we know that we have a lot of black male educators in this room. So I'm going to introduce Professor.
Not yet, not quite yet. Halfway there. Halfway there.
But if you guys can take a seat. For 20 years and undertaking consultancies nationally and internationally. Christine is the co-convener for the Race and Leadership Research Interest Group of the British Education Leadership Management and Administration Society. In addition to being published articles, she's an author of Education for Empowerment, the Practice and the Philosophies of Black Teachers, and the co-editor of Race, Education and Educational Leadership in England and Integrated Analysis. She captivated me with her passion for black male educators. So when we put this on, I knew I had to get Christine. So can you give a massive round of applause to Christine?
It's black male teachers. It is something that as a teacher and as a teacher educator, it's quite rare for me to see so many black male educators in one space. In terms of my own education, I came across 2 black teachers in my own education. 1 woman, 1 man, both at secondary level. Right? So things are improving. Right? As a teacher educator working in primary, I describe it as trying to find a needle in a haystack. the numbers of men you find on your traditional PGCE program in a university setting is incredibly small. If you're lucky, 1 or 2 a year. If you've got 4, you've got plenty. And even then, they have a particular kind of experience. So I was quite interested in what Manny had to say about his experiences in IT, because I do think that's an area where we need to do a lot more work, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on there undercover and behind the scenes that you won't know about. I know about it because I'm in there and I'm always advocating for students and having to speak up for them when their voices aren't being listened to. So I think we need to think about teacher training as a kind of way in which that puts barriers in the way in terms of helping people through. So in terms of the presentation, I'm going to do a bit of that, which is why I'm out here, and because I think it's important for me to kind of explain. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the research that I'm planning to do with Black Men Teach, which I hope you would all like to be involved in some way, and then some time for question and answers. However, if at any time during my presentation you want to answer some question, just kind of indicate, because I think it's important to kind of clarify things as well. So, little activity. If you were to describe your experience as a black man of black male, a black man in education, as a board game, right? So we're thinking Monopoly, Cluedo, Ludo, all those things. What board game would it be? And I will tell you why I've asked that question.
Again, you can build up to go to a certain level, and someone can just put it behind, and you're back to square one. You're trying to keep that balance, and with Jenga, there's loads of obstacles. You have to look at different angles. You have to make sure that number one, is that part secure? Can I progress to that? And there's a lot of parallels with teaching. There's a lot of barriers, and it's how you overcome it, which you can do, because obviously that's the aim of the game. But once again, you start seeing that as a metaphor for progression for a black man within that profession.
Yeah, and two things I'm also hearing is about strategy and navigation as part of that process of keeping that thing and having that 360 kind of view. Some of it is.
Yeah, I was going to say I picked Jenga as well, and the main reason was the falling down bit, because I see too many black men in the profession lose their path because someone falls badly. And I think black men maybe fall a little bit harder than most.
I picked Jenga as well.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Quite a lot of people play Jenga.
Because I think, obviously, when you're playing Jenga and if you're using it as a metaphor, I feel I can't afford to just be a nonchalant or oblivious to it. Because other people can just dilly-dally or just skip through things and just end up here. Whereas I feel I have to watch every single angle to make sure, if I don't do this correctly, someone, it could be me putting it myself.
Something about vigilance as well.
Yeah, I'd say chess, and that's because I'd say, let's say for example, black male teachers are the kings, no pun intended, but let's say we're the kings, right? And we want to do what we can for all of our students. We try to get our pawns, the young students up there and grow them to be the bishops, the knights, the queens, all that kind of stuff. Much more powerful. But then it's like, we need to protect ourselves as well. And sometimes in those environments, it's like we're trying to do the best for our students, but constantly have things that are taking them away, whether it's exclusions, suspensions, and all this kind of stuff like that. But sometimes we're not in the positions to be the ones who can move more than one space, if you know what I mean. But we need to dictate how we can aid our students and other teachers to do the best for those students.
Yeah.
I was originally going to put snakes and ladders,
Right.
and then I can relate to the Jenga thing. I put battleships because I get it and I understand there's so much adversity that we go through, but personally I am resentful of the idea that somebody else or something else can have such a detrimental impact on my own progression. So I wanted to think about something that's a lot more strategic, where regardless of what happens, regardless of the adversity, regardless of the barriers, there's still going to be success that's determined by what I bring to the table.
The game of Jenga in itself is like we have this awareness that we almost have to have this confidence of building, but also have the acknowledgement and the awareness and realization that there's a reality that can shift at any point in time and cause a crash. Even though we know that's happening, at the same time, we still have to find the resilience, like Emmanuel was saying, to still keep building this Jenga because we have no choice, but we have to. So it's a heavy reflection just hearing all the brothers here speaking about that game and their real life experience. And for someone that works with police officers, it's like I'm hearing black police officers speak.
A lot of what you're saying here, if I was in a room with black academics, we would be having the same conversation. It's the exact same conversation. I have this conversation every evening at the weekends of problems. So I think it's wherever, for me, it's whether you're in the public sector or not, we are having these conversations. Doctors have it, nurses have it, officers have it.
Mine, different to others, it's frustration.
Okay.
Because if you look at every single one that everyone's chosen, there's frustration involved. And my career path, where it's led to, it's been a lot of frustration. Whether it's dealing with disappointment, whether it's dealing with being left out, not being heard, it's just frustration. And sometimes that turns into anger, it turns into different things that you have to learn to adapt to or change your environment or change what you're doing, but it all leads to frustration. And if you can't control it, that's when it comes to outwards anger or things that you do unintentionally. And then that's where you need the support for mentors, coaches, to help you understand why you're frustrated. What can you do to change your perspective or your outlook? But whether you're playing Jenga, checkers, chess, Monopoly, you're gonna get frustrated. It's how you manage that and how you get support around you. I was speaking to in there before the session. It's about understanding, as a black man, and I've got 5 black sons, and it's frustration is a big one for me because each of them are different, and learning each of their situations, their strengths, their weaknesses, to help them to build their future. And I do get frustrated myself as a middle-aged black man, and how I'm going to support not just them but the students around me as well. So for me, it's frustration.
I initially said Jenga, but I would say it's any card game where you don't have enough cards to play the game properly. And why I say that is because I don't think genuinely a lot of us have an issue with knowing how the game is constructed. I think we all know how the system goes. I think the problem is that the system, if I was going to use the Jenga one, it kind of puts a lot of onus on yourself that you made a wrong move, you pulled out the wrong slab, or someone kind of tripped you up, but you should have known better. And I actually think that there's parts about it that are just literally systemic. And so it really doesn't matter what the game is. It's the fact that we never started off with the same amount of cards. You had 7, I had 5. So I was never going to, it's not I was never going to, it's more steps I have to do to play the game that's already been set up, where it's easier for you. So when they make the joke about, if you want to experience life as a black person, like black man, black woman, whatever, it's like playing the game on hard, whereas most other people just play the game on easy and they reckon that we're playing the same game. We're not playing the same game. So I kind of changed my view insofar as saying it is not because of my own choices that things happen. It's because the circumstances set up that no matter what best move I make next, it is not going to have the same impact as someone who's got better hand than me, or more chips to play, or their battleships move more detrimental to mine. It doesn't really make a difference. We just never started off with the same cards.
So one of the reasons I use it is because, not just because it kind of centres racism and analysis, but it does foreground minoritized voices. Often you look at research, and there's research about people, I don't engage in it, I challenge it at every opportunity, and any research that is extracted, that's taking something out and not putting something in, to me that is not research, that's exploitation. And I think we spent a lot of time as black teachers helping various people build their profiles and write reports, but actually at the end of the day, because I've been looking at research on black teachers for years, and what I see is a circularity of narrative. It's only recently that the NFER says something which I think is quite interesting, and I'm looking to see how that's going to be built on, but I come to that. Okay, and I know that people are going to be snapping at my heels. Well, they already are, but that's fine, because I've got to find ways to kind of keep them away as we go. But what I will say is that, because one of my papers that was published in British Educational Research Journal, which I didn't think would be published in there at all, because, you know, I suppose it's that imposter syndrome thing. You don't think your paper is ever going to be good enough to go in the best educational journal. So when my mentor at work suggested that I submit it there, I looked at him and said, "You mad? I'm wasting my time." He said, "No, put it in, I think it's good enough." I put it in. And I was shocked and horrified when it was accepted. I was like, wow, brilliant. But also, last year in that journal for 2020. Now, to get that kind of acknowledgement from what is a predominantly white academic space is interesting. And I take the accolade they've given me, but also my periscope is up, because I know that they know that I'm onto something, right? And that thing about create this persona that is going to be accepted within your school context, and that being another part of the additional work that our students have to do, and kind of decentering your racialized identity to kind of fit in with the whiteness of the school environment.
Code switching. I call it code switching.
Yeah. And then she talks about the importance of places of sanctuary and safe spaces and coping strategies, and often these were outside of school. These were friends, these were community, these were other black teachers, people who you can actually be your honest self with and say, look, this is the experience I'm having, and do you have any suggestions that I might have to kind of work through that? And I do a lot of that work there with students who come to me because they're having a particular experience with a tutor at university or with somebody in school, and a lot of it is like coaching them how to manage that situation. And where I have had to, I have intervened. I have no qualms in intervening and going and saying to a colleague, look, something's going on here, what is it? And the minute I do that, and they know that I know, things change. And we do talk about making sure that those students get a more appropriate placement the next time round.
Top stuff there. Anyone else like to share anything? Yeah. So what's your name?
My name's Isaac.
Nice to meet you, Isaac.
I just met his name,
Jordan.
Just met Jordan. He's proud to be a coming deputy head.
Excellent.
To start into teaching. Yeah. That's what I want to start getting myself up to. So something like that, I think that I can make it to there is great.
No, that's good.
One more person?
Yes, Adrian. He mentioned that he went to the houses of, is it
House of Lords?
House of Lords, and got a reward for it. His education or giving back to the community. So that is very good.
Well, anyone else like to share? One more person?
I got one. Just because you're good at working with kids, you should become like a pastor. I think that mentality needs to get rid of in education. Becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where you become a black bouncer for black kids, and then when you rough them up and tough them up, you're the one who gets in trouble, and everyone else is like hunky-dory. So I think that's a kind of perception that we need to get rid of.
Yeah, that's we'll just head over to.
Yeah.
Be actually just highlighting your people in a sense. How have you done it in the past to try and help them?
Well, you see, it's not that difficult for me in my school because I work in a predominantly black kind of area. Yeah. So focusing on white boy is not a particular agenda. It's part of the general raising attainment. But with most of them, it's again, well, I go to this one, it's about finding their why. What makes them tick? And try to tune into that. Because not all of them, the academia will be the right thing to do. And for some of them, I've got kids in my school who are young carers. Some of those kids coming in and trying to talk to them about English, math and science, and last thing on the mind. So some of them, it's about that character and cultural development. Okay, if you can develop that character and culture in them and make them understand where this will lead them, even the English and maths and science don't exactly work, you can say there's a potential, because you know what, you've got leadership skills. So what we do, we run a character and culture program alongside academia in trying to give them something they can feel they're achieving it. And if they feel a sense of success, success breeds success. It might just bring them in early to school the next day to actually make an effort with the English, maths and science. But it's about trying to, that laser point identification of the needs and concern and the relationship. That's a big one. Because even in my previous school, when Falco, who was a drug dealer in the previous school, Woodside, White Hart Lane, kicked any force around the school, they find me to go and talk to Falco. Not because I'm a black man, but I can pull Falco over and talk to me in a way where Falco will relate to me. Rebecca was 14-year-old and already had a child. When Rebecca closed the toilet to have a fag, they had to go and find me. She was a white girl. Well, because I can talk to Rebecca and reason with her and then tell her off when she's the right frame of mind. Because you are telling Rebecca of the point where she's not in the mood, all hell will break loose. So it's about, you need to work with them, you need to build a relationship. Sometimes it seems as if you're just pointing to their needs, but if you don't build a relationship, you won't win them over.
We've got one last question, Javane.
Yes, I'd like to thank you for your uplifting message as well as your servant leadership. As a black male head teacher, I've got a very important question for you. How can we, obviously we've got lots of leaders in here, how can we get more black male head teachers in the UK?
You want to have just a question? Because to be honest, when I set off on my journey, just very quickly, I didn't say that's where I want to go. Yeah, I'm quite happy wherever I am, and my work to speak for me. That's what I did. So when I walked into White Hart Lane School, there are lots of white people there. I like dressing smart. I'm sorry. So if I turn up with a nice colored shirt, they'll go, oh, it's very sunny today. Things like that. Yeah, but it didn't put me off. But my work spoke for me, then I got elevation. Where I am, I just do my best where I am. So, but in terms of the program to get us black people there, if I tell you I've got the answer, maybe you want to put
Stay tuned for a research. Stay tuned.
Well, getting people through the doors first thing. I think it's about developing strategies for staying in and thriving. And I'm just, when you asked that question, I was thinking about an interview I did with Devon Hanson, who's the head of ARC, who I trained with when we were training to be teachers, so it's quite interesting to see his journey. And I asked him, you know, how did he get from where I knew him, which was on, teaching to headship in ARC, and he says he uses Scrabble. They came up with this term, right? Scrabble. So I said, tell me a bit more about it. And basically, he was quite strategic about the moves he needed to make in his career, and he did come up against some incredible barriers. And it took fortitude, I think, really, to kind of overcome some of those things. But I think part of it is in yourself, but I think part of it is also going to be about building networks like this, drawing on the wisdom of those who have gone before. I'm thinking about notions of eldership. If we think about the church and the role of elders, I think we need to kind of look to see who are the black male elders. We need to identify them, and we need to be engaging with them.
Can we give a massive round? Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to move on swiftly, and I'm going to invite up Lindani. So Lindani is a leadership development coach with a background in business development and business partnership. He's also a poet, writer, and a motivational speaker. Lindani coaches police officers in 3 major regions in the UK, supporting them with personal growth, leadership development, and community engagement. His work ranges from prison workshops to running international youth seminars. In addition, Then Donnie has an MSc in leadership development and a BA in politics. So when I actually reached out to Donnie, he literally grabbed on and said, I would love to work with you. And I think it's an honor to have you there. So can you please give it a massive round of applause when he comes up.
Thank you, man. Thank you, appreciate it. I had to roll my sleeves because I feel like you guys are the people doing the real work. 30 minutes. Because even though I have a business called Damn Nation, which is basically the mental gym for young people. And the whole goal for Damn is to go into schools and work with young people and get them to see that, to what Atta was saying, to get them to see that they have a say in who they become. And as I was thinking about this keynote, I was like, what am I really going to talk about? I do have in the my description there that I'm a motivational speaker, but I used it just to kind of get people an understanding of what I do, but I wasn't really too sure how that was going to land here. I had this real passion to really connect with all of you. I had this passion to almost to impress in a way. Wow, he is a fantastic speaker. I was putting this unnecessary pressure on myself. I was talking about this pressure. I spoke to a few of you before. This pressure of having to play different songs, this pressure of code switching, this pressure of having to take the responsibility to be a mentor in school, the pressure of being a father at home, Isaac, and also being a father in the school, or even some of the things that you just shared. And I'm doing a bit of reflection now, and it just started dawning on me. I said, Ndani, why are you putting yourself under so much pressure when you're actually going to be around pressure experts? Everybody here is a pressure expert. You don't think so? The fact that we're sitting here today, we're all pressure experts. The game you all mentioned, I can't remember the name again, the idea of living that game, playing that game in real time, that's pressure. Emmanuel, what you were talking about, that's being a pressure expert. It's not a fun place to be, but for some strange reason, we just have to do it. And I do get the notion of the mentorship and the challenge of having to fall into that role of, am I their carer and am I their mentor? But at the same time, I'm really struggling with this notion of, if I don't do it, who else is going to do it? Because there's a reality that my people are also struggling and they're behind and the system is not on their side. And that fatherly instinct kicks in, and I feel like I have to look after my boys. That in itself is pressure. I was reading a book by Joseph Boyke. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right. Boachi, actually, Joseph Boachi. And Joseph in this book, which is titled, I Heard What You Said, something like that. It's a couple of days ago. And he was talking about this notion of, a kid asked him his name. This kid from East Africa was like, so what's your name? And he said, Joseph. He said, no, but what's your real name? I want to know what's your name. And he said, Joseph. And in the book he was reflecting that he knew what the kid was trying to say or what the black student was trying to say. But he was almost trying to move away from it. He spoke about having to sort of fit in and having to sort of, the silk shirt and the suits. I love to wear suits myself. I'm a Creole boy. We're pretty much from the same tribe back home. He's from Sierra Leone, my mother's from Sierra Leone. And if you're a Creole boy, they raise you to dress well. You don't leave your house looking anyhow, Growing up in Gambia, my mother used to have, this is come out clothes, maybe this is the clothes you go out with. This is not O's clothes, the clothes you play, in the house with. So that's just instilled in me. So I love wearing suits, and dressing well. But going back to Jeffrey Boachi, he was talking about, him having to master this art of really fitting in, of really being, I am made man, I'm this English, I'm black, but I fit in, sort of thing. I don't necessarily have that sort of struggle. But he was reflecting on this, and I reflected back on what he said about the young person saying to him, what's your name, sir? And he was dodging it, and as the student was, as I was reading it, and the student was saying, what's your name? I felt the student was saying, I want to identify with you so I can feel safe. I want to identify with you so I can feel like I belong somewhere. There's something about you embracing your identity that makes me feel safe about mine. So it was just not a conversation of what is your first name. That's how I was reading it. I might be completely wrong. He had another incident again in a class set where there was only one black boy in the class set, and the black boy was there and he would see him every day but never had a conversation. And in the book again he reflected, he said, I wish I had the conversation, because I also know what it feels like to be the only black man in a space like this where it's all white. But he never did. So then it really got me thinking, it really got me reflecting, like, what is our role as male teachers in the school system? What is our role just in society as a whole? And then it dawned on me that, Lindani, if you're a black man and you're trying to work on yourself and be successful in any field, you automatically become some sort of a role model. You automatically sort of have to deal with this to an extent, and that in itself is a burden that it comes with. And that's why I'm happy that you have something like this, because it gives us a space for us to come together and have that chat and offload and be safe to talk about our struggles and talk about our wins. So thank you for having me here today. I also wanted to talk about, when we gather together, this notion I came up with, read a couple of days ago, and this notion of appreciative reflection. And this whole notion of appreciative reflection is that when we gather, we don't only talk about our pain, but we talk about our excel. Because sometimes we get so caught up talking about the things that have held us down that we have very little time to speak about the things that we're so great at. And if we spend all the time looking at the problem, then when do we have time to actually recognize what's been working in the first place? The fact that we're all here, it means there's something great we're doing to be here in the first place. Where's that space for that reflection for us to understand that we're doing something fantastic? To be here. I mean, there was a time when you and I were not allowed to read. There was a time when we were not allowed to be married. There was a time we're not allowed to even have a voice. I mean, even to an extent till today, if you have a voice, you might be kicked out of the system. I coach police officers who can't have a voice. I coach police officers who go into a space where they're trying to serve the community, or the community they're trying to serve even question them, because the narrative of them as a black man has been questioned and been challenged. Their view of that black guy is not what they see, and they find it difficult to actually appreciate the fact that, oh, okay, the person serving me today is a black police officer. And they would turn down help even though they need that help because it's a black man. So we've come a very long way in terms of navigating and getting to this space. But also it makes me think about, how do we deal with this pressure? And I'm genuinely asking, how do we deal with this pressure? Because, you know, at the beginning when you were doing your session, Christine, I got very emotional because I was like, this is a lot of pressure. And I feel the pressure now being a father. I just have a kid that's 6 weeks old, and I look at him every day and I'm like, am I gonna be able to create the space for you to excel? And then I was thinking, I was like, what a perfect timing. I'm actually coming to a place, and I know you saying things like, don't put the pressure of role modeling, but I'm coming and I'm saying, I'm hoping that my son will be in one of your classes. Because I know to an extent you look after him. But that's pressure, right? And then the question becomes, who looks after the shepherd? But like, who looks after us? And that's why I'm happy women are here, because we already know we get so much support from them. They look after us anyways, but who really look after us? How can we look after ourselves as men? Because I've never been in a space like this before. I want to speak quickly about leadership. Please let me know if I'm going overboard, because I'm just genuinely reflecting here. Because I feel like I'm at home. It's beautiful to be in this space. I'm just thinking about leadership. I'm thinking for us as leaders. You know, I was speaking to a brother, Jordan, outside, and we were speaking about, you know, he said something around, if you go to the most, you know, ethnic diverse environment, you're always going to find some white teacher teaching there. It doesn't make sense, because if the environment is not really you, why are you here? But it makes sense for them because it's all about being present. And I realized leadership is actually about being present. The whole conversation we're having here today and your research is about us being present. And when I say being present, I'm not just saying sitting there and ticking a box. I'm saying having a say. I'm saying having a conversation about the curriculum. I'm saying having a say in terms of how we can shape the future of our children. That's the kind of presence I am speaking of. When that student was asking Jeffrey Boache what your name was, he was saying, Jeffrey, sir, I want you to be present. And that's the pressure again, because we can't afford to not be present. And then I was doing this whole research trying to understand the educational system because I'm from Gambia. I didn't know I was black till I was 17. I knew I was black when I came here. When I was in Gambia, I was a Creole boy at most. I came here at 17 and all of a sudden I became a black person. I remember going to one of my teachers, GCSE, and I didn't even understand then. They made me do lower tier. I didn't even understand lower tier and higher tier then. This is me, fresh you call it coming. My father didn't understand and they just put me into lower tier and I was like, okay. I didn't understand the implications of it. And I had this black Ghanaian teacher who was also a pastor. I won't say his name, and I said to him, so I would like to be a lawyer. He looked at me and he said, Lindani, you know, I don't think it's a good idea. The system will not let you be a lawyer. And that's where that conversation stopped. At that point in time, I wasn't just going to him as a teacher, I was going to him almost as a father to say, this is a passion that I have. Can you hear me out? Can you be present with me? Just right here, can you be present? Can you give me an opportunity to share a dream that might be possible or not possible? All he did was tell me whatever experiences had that have stopped him from doing whatever he stopped doing. But I want us to take the conversation beyond the realities of what tries to stop us, and I want us to start having conversation about what's possible. Because we are all here because of a conversation of possibility. And I wanted my GCS teacher to say, Donnie, this is the reality. Yes, you know, you're black, we're going to have to go with so A, B, and C. But hold on. There's a way. When you were speaking, sir, you were speaking about when you came with your documents and they said, oh, you know, you can't do this because your qualifications from Salon is not the right one. Even though they gave us all of our school syllabus and programs and they rejected, you went ahead and get something else and you came back and you kept knocking those doors. That's why I said we're pressure experts. I can't say much, I can't fix our problem. If anything, Christine is the closest person to that. She's the one doing the research. But what I do want to say is that pressure provides opportunity. It provides opportunity for us to be present. It provides opportunity for us to be advocates. It provides opportunity for us to say we are not going to settle in the stereotypes and your narration of who we are, but we're going to create it ourselves. How we are going to do it, I'm sure you will figure that out. I can't give you the answer. I genuinely don't have the answer. All I know is that every single time that I have to be alive and every single time that I'm present, and now with my son, you have 5, so you have motivation times 5. I have 1 now. Now that I have my son, I have no reason and I have nothing that's going to stop me from doing the things that I have to do. Because fundamentally, none of us took permission to be in this world. So why do I have to live my life trying to search for somebody else's acceptance of who I am? The gentleman that just left, Ronaldo said something. He said, Ndani, when I came in, he said, don't ever let anybody shed your light. Don't let anybody stop your light just because they don't want to be bright. You got to be you. And I understand this notion of also even fitting in and because you want to survive and you want to be accepted in the type of way. But even fitting in for me is a bit problematic because fitting in, putting a screw in a round circle doesn't make sense because it just wasn't designed in the first place. So then the question then becomes, is it really about me fitting in? Or is it about me still just going against the realization that I have to find a way to be my full self? Because if I keep chasing water, I would never get a chance to actually feed me because I can't catch up with water. I can't catch up with a system or a structure that wasn't designed for me in the first place. So instead of putting all my energy to impress you, that's not going to allow me to be you. How about I invest more of my time to be myself? And then I started becoming radical. And believe me, I tried to be diplomatic. I said, why can't we build our schools? This is what I'm thinking. I said, why can't we have our schools? I've been to Morehouse in Atlanta. I see they don't have to have conversations that are just based on a struggle, but they have conversations about what's possible. And the reason they can do that is because they have their own space. Then I started thinking, why can't we have our own schools? That's a whole different question. By the way, I'm not suggesting this, but this is just my genuine reflections and thinking. Why can't we have our own schools? But whilst we don't have our own schools and whilst we don't have those spaces that ours, it's beautiful that we have this space to do that ourselves and have the discussion that allow us as a people to navigate. Those are just genuinely my reflections. This is completely outside what my keynote was going to be about, but I just wanted to offload this off my chest. I hope I'm not boring you guys, but I genuinely want to say that for us and for me, what I think leadership is, it's about being present. It's about being there. It's about having a say and a narration of who we are going to be and who we are, despite the realities that are set against us. I think I've done. Thank you. I wrote a poem actually. Let me share this. I got 4 minutes, right? Of course, yeah. I'm thirsty now, but I'll drink later. I wrote a poem. Hopefully this poem elevates us. There's pressure in just even reflecting the realities that we experience. So let's shift a bit. Please next time make jollof rice so we can eat some jollof rice. All this pressure. You see why we have to eat heavy food with all this pressure. Anyways.
Myself and Albert, we started this something very small. We were on Twitter and it was just like, you know what, we actually need this. And then every single one of these individuals behind us, and also yourself, has actually believed in us and believe that we can put something on that's actually going to be legacy lasting. It's going to be impactful as well. And our plan is that we're hoping that this time next year we'll have double the size of black male teachers, because as well as our day-to-day jobs, we're working outside of those hours to really increase the profile of teaching amongst black males. And I think you guys support and love and actually just well-rounded and just supporting as a whole is something that we value. So honestly, from behalf of the BMT family, we'd like to thank you guys so much. So the mentorship program is ultimately designed to aid their success in year 11 and also 6th form. And specifically when we started, we wanted to focus on those black boys who want to be teachers, but then we realized that there's a lot of black boys who just wanted somebody there. And so we tailored this program, this mentoring program, and ultimately is monthly mentoring sessions focusing on soft skills, work experience, reward trips and study conferences, just to make sure that they actually have the first foot or the first step in the game where their grades isn't something that's going to limit them at all. And so it starts from November all the way up into July, and then they graduate and we just stay with them. We stay with them. And so if you would like more information on the Bridge Mentorship Program, by all means reach out to us when we send an email, but we're looking to kind of go into schools between September and November and see. We do have people in Manchester, and we also have people as well in Birmingham who can actually reach out to in Bedford and mostly London.
One of the reasons why I came to this event is because I feel like it's important to support black men, especially within their journey. We know that there's only 2% of male teachers within the UK anyway in the industry, and obviously for black men there's not that many. So coming to support the whole mission, I feel like it's very important. And obviously our head teacher was here to speak to everyone and to inspire them, and not only has he inspired them, he says he continuously inspires us.
Oh my God. Arthur is another inspirational leader, and I was there before he joined the school, and he has transformed the school. It's amazing to see the transformation that has happened in the last 5 years, and it has brought us all together as well. And we really feel, as you said, as a family. We have all different nations in that school, whether it's staff or students, and we really do feel close to him. And as the children said that you saw in that presentation, he's easy to talk to. You can go to him with any problems. He has an open door policy, and we know that if there's anything wrong, we can always go in and speak to him. He always has time for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're the cleaner, to the teacher, to the deputy head teacher, he has time for you. And we were really happy when he was nominated, and even more happy, my God, we screamed when he actually won the award. So we're very happy for him. I mean, I just add why I came. It is, as Shanisha just said, we know that there are very few male teachers, black male teachers in this profession. But and I was just very curious about their journey, because I know as my journey was extremely difficult as a female black teacher who came from Jamaica, so I originated and came up here, and it things like they can't understand my accent, to I can't teach, to it seemed as if I was from a different planet when I came here first. And within the first year, I thought about going back home to Jamaica at least once a week. And I think having people like Arthur in your life, though, means that, and a teacher from a teacher background, you need these people as advocates to keep you going strong. And I've had in every single school that I've worked in, which is not many to be fair, I have had someone there that I can go to and have this conversation with. But it has been quite difficult, and there are times when you do really feel low and you really wonder why is it that you're here. But I know if it wasn't for my love for teaching, I'll tell you anyone, I'm coming and I'm sad and I go in front of a class and I forget what was going on. I'm just on a roll. I keep saying it, madam, you need to be in acting. It just really not on a roll. I just love what I do. I teach maths and I love teaching maths, and that's what has kept me here. For anything else, I would have left that profession ages ago. And I'm coming here today, and hearing what they're saying, really opened my eyes. I know there are problems, but I didn't know that it was this bad. And even when I look at my school where we are, I'm with Arthur. And when I look at the MIGA leaders, because I lead the MIGA Leaders Forum as well as I was the head of department and I'm now an assistant head, so I was there. Most of our MIGA leaders, and we have so many, are females, and they are also from ethnic minorities, and I kind of understand it's a little bit of why this is happening, because we always question why is it that they don't go for this position. Not that they didn't get it, they just haven't gone for the positions, and I kind of have a better idea of why that is. So that's why I'm here.
I can also add as well, I've been teaching now for like 7 years, and this is the longest school. Heron Hall Academy is the longest I've been. September will be 5 years since I got there. And honestly, from my last school, I was going to quit teaching. But when Arthur said in his presentation that you have to allow the school to find you, I got offered jobs, and when I came down to Heron Hall and I saw a black head teacher, I saw a black assistant head teacher, I saw there's also other black assistant head teachers as well. It just gave me more of a reason of why I'm doing it, because when I was in school, I never had black teachers to look up to. So now, I see myself in them, and it just gives me a bit of hope, and it gives hope to our students that we teach, because they see people that look like them, that talk like them, and they have an aspiration. You see so many students now who are applying for student council roles, and it's the young black individuals that are applying, and it's just like when you talk to them, they say, "Oh, madam, I want to be like you," or "Sir, I want to be like you. You've shown us that." Some of them come with the nice suits like Mr. Bozzy when they have the opportunity to. So it's really important to have this space, not just for black teachers, for black men as well.
All right, guys. So it's really interesting. When Shanice was speaking, she talked about young people seeing people who look and sound like them, and that's exactly the reason why when I was coming today, I came with my son, and he did say to me, "You know what, yo, Papa, you're going to a men's program. Why are you taking me? Is there going to be any kids there?" And I said, "No. But the reality is I want you to see people who can be your head teachers, who can be your teachers." Because, my son is in year 8, and he's never had a black teacher before. He's never had a black head teacher before. So this is the reason why we want him to see the likes of Mr. Bassi, and also see all the other female, teaching maths. We're talking about the STEM, disparities in regards to the education sector. Guys, this is a brilliant opportunity. In as much as it was a men's session, we had our mothers also coming to back us, and I believe, behind every successful man, there is 2 ladies, yo, guys. Yo, I got 2 ladies, but believe it, if I don't do it right, they will put me in the right place, because they are teachers. It's been brilliant coming to you guys. My name is Nana S.A. This is for the Black Next Gen page, and if this is the first time, share this. Let our young people see these positive examples, so that they can also want to be like them, sound like them, and possibly reach out to them and ask them, how did you do it? And I'm sure they will get the support that they need. Thank you very much.
Okay, so my name is Alan. I'm here from Golden Core Studios. Golden Core Studios is a creative media agency. It's an agency that I've recently opened up this year in order to realize people's creative visions and, you know, get a camera, get people together and, you know, record something, make something beautiful and capture it in all its enjoyment. And that's pretty much the services that we're offering, where people can have a peace of mind, where they invite us to their event or, you know, whatever they might want to do, event, music video, corporate stuff, birthday parties, weddings. We'll just go there, we'll do our thing. They don't need to worry about the videoing. We'll capture the moments, you know, candid shots and all that type of stuff. And you can see here that I'm heavily geared with all my camera equipment. And I really do enjoy playing around with it. And we've got some serious editing rig back at home. And here's my good friend Freddie, as also my work colleague. He's here, helping me, assisting me. He, you know, helping with the lighting, the microphone, with the second camera, and yeah, we're just here, both being productive, doing stuff, and yeah. So here at Golden Core Studios, you can see Alan, lead video consultant. This is Freddie, he's the runner. You know, he's working his way up, but we'll get there, and I'll show. But let me show them the back of the video. What did you say, sorry?
How can they reach us?
How they can reach us? So you can reach us at contact@goldencorestudios.com, or you can reach us at our Instagram, Golden Core Studios. We should be. You can also see our stuff on YouTube. We're going to be doing a behind-the-scenes vlog type stuff, and there's going to be a lot of content coming through. And yeah, you'll see us there. You'll see the journey that we've done today to travel all the way down from Birmingham down here. We're going to be releasing that on our YouTube page and kind of telling you the behind the scenes of doing video stuff. And yeah.